back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer, and I got a review for you today. From Image Comics, we're going to be talking about The Sacrificers, issue number 3, written by Rick Remender, art by Max Fomera, colors by Dave McCraig, and letters by Russ Wooten. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. I am trying to hit 1K. Tell your friends, you know, it's all free. It doesn't cost you anything to like, to comment, to share, to watch, everything. Hit the bell. You never know when I'm going to be going, you know, dropping a video. I don't have a schedule. It'll keep you in tuned. Alright, so with all that out of the way, The Sacrificers issue number 3. I'm not going to do like a catch-up or anything. If you want to, you know, if you have not read the first two, I highly suggest either reading them or go watching my first 2 reviews so you can get caught up. But basically, we are right at the moment where the last book left. But we're starting a little different. We're on the other side of the spectrum. And in this case, we're at a big, like, banquet ballum. Or gallum. Basically, we're getting to meet a lot of the, like, royalty that's set up in this world. We had already met, like, the sun, which is the king of everything. We met his wife, which is the moon. We met his daughter, which it was like a mix of both of them. But now we get to meet quite a bit of different, you know, like, entities and what they do. I'm not going to go into names and stuff like that. But it's just kind of interesting seeing the different, like, you know, you have like this lady right here, and she controls like all the storms, and then you got this guy who's basically like Swamp Thing, and he controls all the green on the earth. You got this guy who's basically controls all the rock and, you know, stuff like that. But they kind of go through and they give like small little details about each other, but they're all there for this big gala. And I don't remember what the gala is. It's supposed to be something with the king. I don't remember if they go into it yet. Not yet. Don't quote me on it. We got some other entities too. We have, like, you know, some part of the festivities that the king put on. It's some fire fairies. We have like some other kind of god-like entities, like this one who is it's supposed to be like Queen of the Oceans, and for some reason she wanted to evolve and be more human-like, so she stopped swimming. Some very interesting back lore into most of these, but they're basically the higher-ups. Eventually, like, through all this, it's their daughter who's watching all this and making kind of a mockery of her to herself. Well, her and her little, like, pet who looks like a warthog. But basically, you know, as these guests arrive, she's like kind of telling us who they are, what they do, you know, stuff like that, and kind of making a joke about it, because the only reason she says all of them are here is to kiss the king's butt kind of thing. Eventually, in grand entrance style, the mother shows up, the moon. They call her Luna, and she's basically, like, in this moment she's supposed to be in full, like, moon mode or whatever, and they kind of appreciate that she's in this cycle at this time. There's some back and forth between the king's, like, aide and the wife, and we already know from the first issue that the king kind of goes back and forth between these two, which the daughter thinks is hilarious, you know, watching them, because she's kind of like up top watching everybody kind of thing. Eventually the book does, you know, get us to the important part, because where we left off with the Sacrificers, they had done this extensive climb through, you know, like horrible terrain. It went through desert and snow, and well, eventually the survivors made it to this, like, you know, peaceful, like, oasis type of place. There was this orca that was explaining, you know, what the Sacrificer's journey is, and she believed that, and I think her name is Noom, but Noom believed that, you know, because they bred and kind of, you know, enforced the whole sacrificer idea within their community. Our pigeon guy, the main character, he doesn't know what's going on. So they do get to this oasis, and it looks like everything that this orca girl, and she's right here, but the orca girl kind of, you know, told them that, hey, this is what's going to go on. You know, they're going to, you know, make us extremely happy. We're supposed to be this kind of new representation for all the gods that we have. We're going to be their in-betweens. That's why we're considered sacrifices, because we're going to sacrifice our life, you know, in debt with these gods, kind of like thing. It's going to be this thing where they work for the rest of their life type of thing, but it's seen as an honor. that's the way the Orca Girl explains it. And when they get there, so far it looks like that. You know, we have all the kids and they're watching like theater, and it's this comedy about the gods, and we see them playing and doing other recreations. Eventually, you know, Pigeon and Orca Girl, they're you know playing tag, and eventually you know our clumsy little pigeon kind of falls all over. They have this joking moment, and you know they kind of you know just laugh it off and this and that. Eventually we get to this you know nice like heartfelt soft moment between the two, and Orca Girl is basically you know like, hey, you know, you look so much better here. Whatever this is doing, this is working. I'm glad that you've been this happy. And the pigeon, he's like, man, I don't know how to perceive all this. He was like, my life has been trash and bad luck, and you know, how does somebody that's spent their whole life you know just envisioning bad stuff to one day come across a happy ending kind of thing? And he's having a problem doing this. Eventually, as this conversation unfolds, the door opens and these four you know very you know energetic and happy individuals come in singing this song about how they all need to be happy, and the happiest are going to get chosen to go to this banquet for the king. And we already saw that the gala banquet is already going on. So the impish individuals, they kind of you know go around all these sacrifices, and they pick 4 individuals, and our Orca Girl happens to be one of them. She says you know apologies to our pigeon guy, but basically you know she tells him, hey, you know, and they're going to come back tomorrow, and hopefully when they come back, hopefully you have more faith and more happiness, and you get chosen. So the 4 that get whisked away, they get taken by these you know these little happy guys, and they are brought to a saloon, and they are told that you know they're going to get all primed and proper and magical and beautiful so they can go to this banquet. And you know Orca Girl is like, see, I told y'all, you know. And they have all of our you know candidates, and then it looks like more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's 6. I miscounted. But the number isn't important. But they basically took like 6 of the sacrificers, and they start primping, and you know, and that there's a nice little song that goes on. You know, it's a rhyming song that goes on. It's actually well thought out. But they get their nails done, they get their makeup, and eventually they get to their hair. And they do their hair, as you can see, and eventually it gets to the part where they're supposed to blow dry their hair. Eventually, you're kind of singing the song, and I didn't catch this at first, but you see one of them activate it, and you see what comes out of this. It looks like a needle-type device. Basically, they're about to do their hair. I made it to this point, and I was a little confused. I had to go backwards, and that's when I noticed the needle, because if you can see, the girl looks fine at first. All of a sudden, and then you hear the, you know, the click or whatever it is, you know, the needle going in, and then we get this picture over here. But basically, all the other kids did this, and for some reason, Orca was a little late on doing her hair, getting her hair dried, and she witnesses, you know, some of the other kids, and she's like, "What's wrong? No, you know, well, what's going on?" And we see that these nice salon people all of a sudden are not so nice. They're like, "No, you will get your hair dried, and you'll do it now." So Orca Girl is, you know, she puts her head back, and of course, you know, she has to go through with it, and we see quickly what is being done. You know, we see that sadly, and this hurts, but Orca Girl is dead. All these kids are dead. They just had a needle that was poked into them, and not only that, but it's a needle with a suction device, and it looks like it's just sucking out their essence. And as it does, you can see that the person that it's getting sucked from just, you know, steadily gets, you know, nastier and uglier. We follow this path of where the fluid, elixir, whatever is being drained from these individuals, and we follow it, and eventually it goes to these glasses. And of course you can, you know, kind of figure out where these glasses are being taken from. And that's where we found out what the, you know, sacrifices are being used for, and supposedly these drinks are supposed to be a unified, you know, kind of thing that represents the perfect world kind of thing. But that's where this book leaves us off with. We do get a cover image from the next issue, which kind of makes me feel like the kids somehow might find out about this, situation that they're about to go through. But man, this comes with a big warning. If you're watching my reviews and you are not reading this book, and for some reason you want to go read this book, I'm leaving a lot out of the book. And this book, I mean, especially for me, that it got dark, and not only that, but the way Rick Remender is writing this book is fantastic. But not only that, but you're kind of going on this journey with these individuals. So once you get to the dark stuff, it's very, very dark. I mean, I myself, it was almost like watching a horror movie, and I loved it. But at the same time, I have to give that warning out there that if you're not so familiar with these ideas or comfortable with them, or it might bother you in certain ways that you're not familiar with. You might get tense, you might get nervous, you might get a little anxiety going. So just be warned. This is definitely going on a very dark turn. I kind of knew with the name and the title that we were going to be going that direction, but I was in the back of my mind hoping that maybe the Orca Girl was telling the truth, that it was going to be some kind of cool thing that we were going to get to see. But sadly, it's the name is kind of prevalent. But guys, that's my review. Please let me know down below. Are you reading this? What did you think about it? Are we on the same wavelength as far as feelings and stuff like that? And I don't know, guys. Let me know anything you want to down below. Please, I eat that stuff up. But guys, that's my review. I will let y'all go. Bah!